So the hard truth is chasing validation actually steals or robs you of your confidence.
Curious what business owners are doing to double revenue, have more cash flow, work less hours, and provide a better lifestyle for their family? Dive into the world of business growth that leads to guaranteed wealth. Your hosts, Dr. Laura Shwaluk and Jerry Kezhaya, grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals.
Welcome to this episode of the Business Builders Intensive. My name is Dr. Laura Shwaluk, and my co-host here is none other than Mr. Jerry Kezhaya.
Hi, everybody.
We are really glad that you're here. You're going to be very glad that you are here too, because today's guest, we have with us Armando Leduc of Leduc Entertainment. And so, Armando, tell us a little bit about you, your company, and how can that segue into entrepreneurism?
Well, it all started when it was 1980 on a cold, dark night. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if it was.
And then that's when you were born, right?
Because it was January. I was just, I was a military brat, and I was always in this space of moving every 3 years. And all of this stuff is just kind of coming into focus and clarity within the last month or two for me. Because I've been working with like this neuroscientist, and I just got back from this Antarctica trip with these, amazing doctors and healers, and went through I'll talk about the one of the experiences and journeys that I went on the trip. But it's because you asked for the segue. As I'm thinking about my childhood and being an Army brat and moving every 3 months and just kind of being the new kid on the block every single time and constantly figuring out how to be accepted quick, right? Because when you're an Army brat, you have to make friends fast, because in 3 years you're going to be uprooted and you're moving somewhere else, right? And so I didn't realize that this was just my modus operandi, that I was just like, yeah, I'm going to meet friends quick. It's going to be heartbreak because I may not see these people again in 3 years, and I just got to do what I need to do to get accepted quickly. And I think that, coupled with my ADD and my visionary mind, and I was just like ideas for days, and I was just constantly, I think I always had this entrepreneurial mindset, right? And stories and things like that. And so as I'm looking back and trying to make sense of it, all of the things, and how I came to this conclusion of, chasing validation robs us of this self-confidence, is because I never thought I was enough, right? I started, the acting journey back in 98, and was chasing the applause, and that made me feel good, right? And it was just constant dopamine hits, and it just never felt like it was enough, right? I would finish a project and it just kind of left me sort of depressed a little bit. And it isn't until, like I said, this past month or two, that I'm understanding what I was chasing was never going to be fulfilling, right? I just constantly trying to be successful as a business owner made me feel like, this is another way to be accepted, right? And it's just like, man, it's just never enough. It's just never enough, right? And as I'm chasing, I'm getting more angry, and I'm frustrated, and not really attracting, and not really being present. And I would always be in these modes of thinking about the future or thinking about the past, and forgetting about what's right in front of me. And so as I'm going through this next journey of life and learning more about who I am, and the background, I'm learning that I'm okay. I'm enough. I don't need I don't need external validation. I'm doing my work, helping people with their personal brand and videos and creative and podcasting and all that, to help them, not to fulfill a need of mine, right? Like actually going, oh, I want to help people like realize their truth and realize that their voice matters, not for my sake, but for their sake, right? Because I already am living in this space of I'm enough. I have everything I need, right?
Right.
So
Beautiful place to be, isn't it?
it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, I guess that's the work, right? When people are like, oh, you got to do the work. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. What are you talking? What is the work, right? And the work is the constant reminder to stay in this space of I'm enough. I have what I need. I don't need to try, right? Like Yoda talks about, like, there is no try. Just do,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Do or do not.
And enjoying the journey, being present to the journey. Because you said you were getting validation from applause. Well, for some people, it's the number of customers, it's the amount of money that their total revenue, and that defines them. Their identity is their business rather than them having their own identity, and the business is the business.
Right.
It's really interesting. You and I have some similar backgrounds. Now, I was not a military brat, but what I did notice is that the more successful I became, the angrier I became, and
Or and more unsatisfied.
and the more angrier I became, and the more unsatisfied with what I had, I became. And it's really just been in the last 6 years, 6.5 years, that I've been able to turn that around. And it's really just been the most beautiful experience of being able to realize, hey, you know what? I'm enough. I'm enough. Whether I have $100 in my pocket or 30 million, it doesn't matter. I'm enough. And it's nice.
It's an amazing driving force, though. So I have a question for you, Armando, and that is, do you feel as driven people as you were as driven to get that validation?
Do I feel as driven?
Like, is your why big enough to cause?
It was so funny because I was on this on the boat, um, and thinking about, like, what is my vision, right? What is my vision? And people talk about, like, yeah, what is your why? How do you even come up with your why? How do you even figure that out, right? And it's so before this journey, my why was just tied into, once again, validating a number, right? Like, oh, I got to get to 8 figures. I got to do that. And when I do that, I'm enough, right? When I do that, everything is always beyond my reach, right? And,
Yeah.
and
In the future somewhere.
yeah, it's in the future, right? And it's just like, man, now my why is, and I'm developing it, as the year comes to an end, because I really want to go into 2026 with a whole new attitude, and I am. My why now is first and foremost to be okay
Mm.
first, right? Like, I need to feel like I am enough and that I don't need to chase anything. And if I can come from that place, then then everything else is more fun, right? And it's like, as I'm growing my business, I'm having a good time because it's not tied to my value as a person, as a human being. And
Beautiful.
That's a pitfall, isn't it?
oof, that's the biggest thing that, yeah, I think that's the work, right? And so if I can continue to remember to do that when I get on a sales call, like I had sales calls today, and it was so great, right? I'm back from the trip, and the sales calls today were so not, the intentions behind them were different, because I'm just in a different space, and I know that it fluctuates, right? Like, this isn't going to be the way I am I would like it to be, and I'm going to try my hardest to be this way, but I know that it will fluctuate. But today, when, as I'm doing these sales calls, I'm more concerned with what is it that they're trying to accomplish, and how can I be the vessel, and how can I be the just the linchpin in what they're trying to accomplish, instead of me going, I need to close this deal so that I can get to that next level of revenue or whatever, right? It just feels better. The energy is definitely there. I will say this, because I know you guys had asked about Thanksgiving, right? And and I had to separate myself 3 or 4 times in, during Thanksgiving. I had to like go for a walk because I felt like the
Oh,
energy in the room was so different.
Mm.
Right? And I had to really acclimate myself back. I mean, it was 10 days on a boat in Antarctica, right? Like a whole different mindset, whole different energy space, and I could feel it for the first time, energy. Like I could feel it. And I was like,
yeah.
wow. I was so I was moving so fast that I just wasn't even registering like energy and things. And now I'm slowing down. Like I didn't do any work for the last 3 weeks and it was amazing. Like I didn't do jack. You know what I mean? And it was great. And I'm back here and I'm like, all right, like it's not the end of the world for any of this stuff. I'm going to continue learning. It's more fun. I want to help people, meet them where they're at. I don't have to tie it to me to tie it to me personally. And it's just been and like I closed a couple of deals and it was and I feel like I would have closed them anyway, but it was a different type of close because now I didn't get the dopamine hit that I usually do when I close a deal. I didn't get that.
Interesting.
Beautiful. Yeah. Now it's just a matter of instead of validating yourself by getting a deal, you're actually realizing that you're helping other people by getting the deal.
Yes.
How beautiful. And what great energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like from the first time we chatted to now, it feels like you are a different man.
Feels like it.
Yeah, I dig it.
So now tell us, what is it that you actually do? How do you help people? And because our listeners might want to,
Chomping at the
they
bit
might
on
they might want to know, what does
Yeah.
this guy do, and should I hire him?
So we essentially help people build their personal brand online through podcasting, through video content. We help it's a nice little triangle, right? Podcasting, client journey, and social media. And so we kind of help them build out their client journey so that they have videos and touch points for their clients after
Mhm.
they become clients, so that they have a better client experience, and we can help them with that. And then we help them launch their podcast so they can use that as a means to build their personal brand, but also create referral partnerships with people within their niche. And so that's been a really good superpower for us. We've been using podcasting to connect with the right people for like 5 years. I mean, the reason I went to Antarctica was because of my podcast. You know what I mean? The opportunity, I'm meeting you, I met you guys at Flow because of my podcast. So using the podcast as a means to connect with people, and then social media to get their message out there on a regular basis. So we help them do all of that. We're like the easy button for that.
And is this good for service-based businesses, or is there a certain niche that you work with? Tell us about that.
B2B is like B2B businesses are really good. Coaches and consultants, work with a lot of attorneys. People that are in the space are really good for us. I don't think we did help a couple of people that had products, but it wasn't really the right fit.
Mhm.
Service-based businesses are definitely how we can help the best.
beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are some of the results that you've been able to help people achieve I know that we're not looking for results for validation, but for somebody to say, "Oh, wow, you know what? That's impressive," or
Um,
maybe I've been thinking about doing a podcast. Maybe I should jump in.
there's a guy in San Diego, Jeremiah. I talk about him all the time.
Hi, Jeremiah.
He was living in his stepdad's closet. And he would call me and he was like, how do I grow my business? What do I need to
Wow.
do? And, I think I'm making $1,500 a month in revenue,
Mm,
if that. And now he's at 150K in monthly recurring revenue and just smashing it, continuing to grow. And
awesome.
yeah, so it's been super beneficial for him.
Beautiful. Wow.
Excellent.
He's not still living in the closet, right?
If he is, no, he's not. If he is, it's because he wants.
That's
Love
funny.
it. So, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more?
Super easy. I'm super easy to find. Armando Leduc on all the social media platforms. LeducEntertainment.com is our website.
Spell your last name, please.
Leduc.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Armando Leduc, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
TikTok, Instagram.
Okay.
If you Google me, you'll find me very, very quickly.
Love it.
What's your favorite part about what it is that you do and how you help people?
I love the I love the growth that they experience from like at the very beginning. You have these people that are really have really big reputations. They're good at what they do. They've never been on camera. And so, taking them from this place of not having sort of stage fright to them owning their personal brand and getting on camera and owning that workflow is just a really cool experience. I was working with a financial advisor, Rufus, who's my financial advisor. And I kept pushing him for 2 years. I was like, why don't you build a personal brand? What are you doing? And so he started his podcast. We helped him with his social media. Now he's like got a YouTube channel and and he's telling me things that I need to be doing with my social media. And I'm like, look at you. You're changed. You're completely different, right? So it's
Yeah,
awesome. It's good to
that's
see.
awesome. That's awesome. I love watching our clients grow like crazy. I mean, our top two guys, one went from about 130 a year. He'll do over 2 million this year. And one went from 540. He'll do almost 6.5 this year.
Awesome.
So, I mean, it's just, we call them our kids. Look at what our kids are doing, honey.
I call them my men. They're my men.
These guys they're just really, I'm so proud of them, all of them, that they've done so well.
And
Yeah.
there's so much that can be done. Like, for example, with our auto repair shop, we have a YouTube channel. It's called the Jerry and Dr. Laura Show. And we just talk about just often silly things, but I'll ask Jerry questions about cars and just questions that I often hear at the front counter that our clients ask. And we get phone calls from all over the country. And it's so much fun, especially if I answer the phone and they're like, "Is this the Dr. Laura?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's me. How can I help? But don't ask me a car question because I won't know." And it really has helped our service-based business for the auto repair shop.
Yeah. So if you
You
have
guys
a
have an
service,
auto repair shop?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. January will be 45 years. We own the largest independent repair shop in Northeast Texas.
Oh, wow.
45 years.
I gotta my wife was in an accident with my truck, so maybe
Ah,
I'll bring it to Texas and get it
dude,
fixed.
if I did body work, I'd look more like you instead of like me. So we'd only do mechanical stuff. We'll take
Okay.
brakes, transmissions, that sort of thing. But we do a lot of it. We do a lot, a lot, a lot. Our shop is 35,000 square feet. You can put 110 cars inside the building.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's theautoshop.com if you want to check it out. Um, yeah, fun stuff. Really fun stuff. But what we really promote is our coaching, our business builders, mentor, and mastermind, which is
Yeah.
the BBMM USA. And we are hosting, for those of you that are listening, we are hosting back by popular demand our 2-day event in August, or in Austin, in Austin at the end of March. If you're interested, go to bbmmusa.com, check it out. That's the commercial from our sponsor.
Yep. So I'd like to know, how did you make the transition from an acting career into podcasting and having your own business? Tell me about that transition.
My first business when I was 21 was a swing Latin and ballroom studio in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
So I was doing theater at the time, and my creative director that works for me right now, I met him doing theater, and I was working for another ballroom studio. And he was like, you should, if you don't like it, you should start your own studio. And I was like, I could do that. And he was like, yeah. So I ended up starting my own studio, and I ran it from 2001 to 2005. And I wanted to move because I wanted to pursue my acting career. Moved to New Orleans, and was here because of the tax credits. And while I was on set, I just kind of saw what the director was doing, the producers, and I was just entranced by the whole production, you know? And I had always thought of doing creative work. And so I had a sketch comedy group that I put together called Sketchy Characters, and we did short films and things like that. So I was doing behind the camera stuff. And then I was like, well, I should probably be doing this for businesses. And so I rebranded to Leduc Entertainment in 2016 and just kept doing it from there. So entrepreneurship was easy for me. It was something that I had already known. I worked on Bourbon Street for years as a lead singer and started a band called Dat Band in 2014, and I sold that to my business partner. So got out of that business. So yeah, business. I understood entrepreneur. I am unemployable.
Amen.
Most entrepreneurs are
Yeah.
unemployable, yes. And so that's a good thing because we have to make our business work.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
plan B.
There's no plan B.
There's no
There's no
plan.
going to work for someone else. You have to make it work.
Somebody
You gotta
asked me,
figure it out.
they asked me one time, what did you ever figure out what you would do if the business didn't work? I said, that was never an option. What the hell are you
Yeah,
talking about? Didn't work. I didn't have any choice, man. Are you kidding me? There's no way in
yeah,
hell it wasn't going to work.
100%. Yeah, I love that. There is no plan B. There wasn't.
And they talk about that the ancient Greeks, the way they would win the wars, they put all their soldiers and their families and all their personal possessions on the boats, send them across the water, and then they would burn the boats.
Yeah,
Right? There was no plan B. You're going to win, or your family will be killed, and there is no plan B.
that's why
And I find that's how most entrepreneurs, the successful ones, I'll add, the successful entrepreneurs, there is no plan B.
they figure it out. They make it happen
You
every
burn
time.
your boat, buddy. Let's get it on.
Some people, yeah, I mean, some people can't handle it, you know?
85%, by the way, the statistic is 85% of the world's population are not wired. They cannot be an entrepreneur. Only 15% of us have that capability.
That makes sense. Who
Yeah.
would want the majority of the people like us?
God.
Even God has a sense of humor, and he even lowered the Pareto principle numbers from 80-20 to 15-85.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We're gonna need more of these people.
That's brilliant. Okay.
So one more time, would you give us your contact information so that people can reach out to you, learn more, maybe figure out, like, what's the process
Oh,
of
and
working with you?
the podcast, Spaghetti on the Wall. Gotta
Yeah.
talk about that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I've got my podcast called Spaghetti on the Wall, and when I started it, a mentor of mine was like, "You have a production company, but you're not producing your own content. Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "All right." So I kind of put this, podcast together, and they were like, "Well, you need a niche, and you need this," and I was like, "Oh, oh, I live my life throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? And seeing what sticks and nurturing what sticks." And so I just kind of put it together, and it really changed my life. And so yeah, I invite awesome people like yourselves to come on to the show and talk. And I also have another podcast called Partnership for Profit that I use as a referral partnership vehicle. And I have 4 hosts of that show. And so we do about 10, 15 podcasts a week.
Wow. Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And it's an easy way for us to, one, create content, but two, we get to meet the right people. And my hosts are sort of, the weeding out process. And then they're like, oh, you should totally meet so and so. And then, we start that partnership.
And here we are.
And here we are.
There it is. Oh, fun. Cool.
Are there any other words of wisdom or suggestions that you have for people regarding their social media, their marketing?
Yeah, I think people need to get started as soon as possible, right? What do they say? Sloppy execution is better than perfect procrastination. And I think people they get too caught up with what they think it should look like compared to what it will look like at the very beginning. And it's just going to be it's going to be okay. It may be subpar at the very beginning. if you've never played golf and you started playing golf, it's going to be atrocious. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it goes. But that shouldn't stop you from starting, and you can learn very quickly with the doing. That's why I love podcasting as a way to create content, because it's more about a conversation,
Yeah.
and it's an easy way to, move into creating content in the future and building personal brands. So, starting as quickly as possible, not overthinking it, really just doing the action. I did a whole talk on like how to overcome imposter syndrome. And it's basically the man in the arena, right? You guys know the man in the arena by Roosevelt.
I don't know that.
Uh, it is not the critic who counts. It
Yep.
is not the man who points at the strong man stumbling. It is the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and blood and sweat, because that person knows and it's a longer version,
Yeah.
but this person knows the truth of what it takes when yeah, sure, this person might fail, but also will understand the triumphs and really understand what it feels like because of the action, right? And the doing, rather than trying to overthink and be perfect and judge other people for their thing. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of just getting in there and doing it.
80% is good enough. Get it started, get going, put it out there. If you need help, please reach out to Armando. Don't procrastinate. Honest to God, procrastination is killed so many people, so many businesses, so many brilliant ideas because they're waiting for it to be perfection. To hell with perfection. 80% is good enough. Get it out there. Promise. If I look back, dude, if you look back at some of our earlier podcasts, I hang my head in shame. Okay. It's like, oh my God, I so sucked. It was terrible.
I
But
get it.
what? F it, it was still out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere.
Definitely. So to close the end of our podcast, each time I ask a question for our audience. And I've been trying to think of a question today of what to ask. And my question really is going to come back to the hard truth. And the question that I have for our listeners is, are you confident just in who you are? Are you feeling like you are enough? If that's where you are, then go ahead and call Armando and get going on your social media. If you haven't got your podcast going, be the authority, be that person. If you don't have the confidence, then definitely reach out. Even more of a reason to reach out, because you've probably heard Jerry and I say this before: hurt people,
Heal
healed
people,
people,
heal
heal people. We, the three of us on this call, have healed, are healing, and have helped other people heal. So if you're not feeling like you're enough, reach out. If you are confident, then definitely get that podcast going. Get your social media organized and congruent so that you can help as many people as you possibly can in your life. So give us your contact information just one more time, please, as we wrap this up.
Sure. It's LeducEntertainment.com, and Google me at Armando Leduc.
Excellent. And Jerry's and my contact information is BBMMUSA.com. That's Business Builders Mentor Mastermind USA.com, BBMMUSA.com. And we look forward to meeting you. Thank you for being here. And thank you so much, Armando, for your words of wisdom and just being a bright spark and fun and laughter.
Thank you.
Great time. Thank you so much.
Grow and get answers to your business and investment questions that provide clarity, move you forward, and inspire you to reach your goals. Share the show and connect with us at BBMMUSA.com to submit questions and learn more. That's BBMMUSA.com.